in the middle of the fair today was Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders.
No, he has proved he is capable of drawing a big crowd, and certainly the fair has too, so they go hand in hand, I guess. Fox 9's Theo Keith followed Sanders around a little bit today at the fair. Theo, you talked with him one-on-one earlier today as well. So an interesting mix of politics and fair once again.
For sure. He one of his questions for me was, what is the food that I eat at the fair? I had some questions for him as well. And Sanders told me that he thinks he can beat U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar in her home state, and that he plans to be in Minnesota quite a bit as he looks for a repeat of his 2016 win here.
It's not 2016 anymore, but Bernie Sanders is not to be forgotten.
Well, one of the things that I learned is that many of the ideas I talked about 4 years ago that everybody said were crazy are now being talked about by every other Democratic candidate.
Saturday afternoon at the state fair, Sanders drew a crowd that spilled into the streets around the Minnesota Public Radio booth. He promoted his plans to move everyone to government-run Medicare for All health insurance, pay for college tuition, and make sweeping changes to deal with climate change.
We have got to be realistic. And being realistic is not meaning what some Republican may or may not support today. Realistic is, do we save this planet or do we not?
At 77, Sanders fought back when asked if he was too old for the presidency.
I say to Andrew, follow me on the campaign trail.
Before he got to the fair, Sanders told me about his plans to win Minnesota, the home state of rival presidential candidate Amy Klobuchar.
Can you win Minnesota even if Senator Klobuchar is still in the race?
I think we can. We did really well here last time around. We have a very strong volunteer base here in the state of Minnesota. We're going to come back and spend a lot of time in Minnesota. I've known Amy Klobuchar for a very long time. We were elected at the same time. Amy is a friend of mine. But I think we do look at the world a little bit differently, and the people of Minnesota will have a choice.
Sanders is still in town. He's doing a fundraiser in Minneapolis tonight, and his visit follows one from his main progressive rival, Elizabeth Warren, earlier in the week. I asked Sanders about Warren and whether he wants the endorsement of Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Those answers tonight at 9 o'clock as we continue this story.